Good morning, everyone. This is Brad Matheny. We are into the hot list video. I'm breaking these up into separate videos for you to try to keep them shorter and sweeter instead of my normal 50-minute to 1 hour video. But let's go ahead and get started. So this is the main Trade Tank hot list, which all members should be following. We've got a lot of new triggers last week. This is again from Monday. All of this is last week. Remember, all of these get reposted on Monday morning onto my website, so you can gain access to these. It's an incredible, really an incredible week when you think about it. So we're going to go through some of these. These are all the new triggers from last week, and let's take a look at these. So we have RWX, the retail index, as a new trigger, hasn't hit any targets. It's off by 0.62%. We have XLB, the raw materials, it looks like, is off by 1.22%. It's a new short trigger. We have IHI, the medical devices, a new short trigger. It's off by negative 1.84%. So these new triggers, as I mentioned to you, they can roll around a little bit before they move into profits. So you'll see here, when you look at all these triggers, we have trigger at XAR, USRT, IYR, XLRE. All of these are real estate funds, except for this first one, aerospace and defense. They're all relatively flat, okay? One's profitable, the others are minor losses. We have another trigger here in XT. We have another trigger here in XLP. We have another trigger here in IXN. Another trigger here in IYW, technology, off a little bit as well. All of these are newer triggers, and they're thrusting. These bright red thrusting patterns mean that they're in a moderately strong downtrend. The deeper red here is more of an intermediate downtrend, and the purple color is kind of a neutral trending scenario. So we have a number of new triggers here that'll play out, but look at some of these older ones. Jets is 1 week old. That means it was a trigger not about 2 weeks ago. As of this coming Monday, it's a 0.78 profit. Here's one that's 3 weeks old, 8.72 percent profit, 21.89. Our first target's been hit. Here's one that's 13 weeks old, 10% profit. Here's one that's 1 week old. It really means that it's about a week and a half ago, 2.24% profit. Here's one that's 2 weeks old, which is near the end of September, 5.45% profit. Here's another one that's 2 weeks old, 2.38% profit. I mean, we're getting some very solid triggers. In fact, we're getting some very numerous triggers. And that's going to tell us that we have a lot of opportunity potentially for a breakdown. My advice, ladies and gentlemen, would be to look at a 3 to 5% entry trigger, which will probably be close to target one in most cases, and pull 60 or 65%, maybe even more off if you take any of these trades. Remember, you should be trading with a very small amount of capital to keep your risks very low in the market the way it is right now. We are in a moderate, neutral, bearish type of a downtrend. I believe that we're going to be hammering out a bottom over the next 3-4 weeks through October, maybe moving into a Christmas rally. So be very cautious with your trading activity. You can still make money here, but you should be very cautious. Only trading, in my opinion, this is again my opinion, trading 15 to 25% of your total capital across not necessarily any of these signals, but hypothetically all of these signals, meaning you would be breaking them down into small little 1.5 or 2% allocation of your total capital for each new trigger, paying very close attention to the risks involved. So that's, again, my advice. Now let's come over here. This is the value hot list. This always gets a little tiny because there's a lot of them here. Got a lot of new triggers here. This one is zoom this up. This is 5 weeks old. I'll move this over. WBA is 5 weeks old, 15% profit. INTC is 14 weeks old, 33% profit. Verizon is 8 weeks old, 18% profit. UVV, Universal Corp, a brand new trigger last week, 5.2% profit already. Dow, 4 weeks old, 11% profit. SMG, Scott's Miracle Grows, 2 weeks old, 23% profit. ALE, 1 week old, 13% profit, already hit our first target. Manpower Group is 2 weeks old, 3.62% profit. HAS, Hasbro, 2 weeks old, 7% profit. EMN, Eastman Chemical, carry that out across here, 7.71, 7.48 in Nike, 15.94 in JP Morgan. All of these are just 1 or 2 weeks old. Here's a new trigger, short Kimberly-Clark, 3.02% profit. Here's a new trigger here, Procter & Gamble, 2.34% profit. And here's a new trigger in Microsoft, 0.50% profit. Understand that these are fantastic little swing trade setups. 2, 3, 4 weeks. Actually very good potentially for options trades as well. Now, not all of them will move like this in 2, 3, 4 weeks. But a lot of times you're going to see a 3 to 7% move in typically 3 to, say, 5 or 6 weeks in some of these setups. It depends on how volatile the market is and what the market is doing. But understand that while everybody is struggling to try to make money and try to find great triggers, here these trade tank hot lists, as I call them, are just stupendous. I mean, 2 weeks old for Scott's Miracle Grow, 23%. 2 weeks old for ALE, Elite Inc. is 13% profit. You got a couple of triggers here. Look at these new triggers. New trigger, 5.29. That's 4 days old, 5 days old. New trigger, 3%, 5 days old. New trigger, 2.3%, 5 days old. New trigger, 0.50. You just stuck with the new triggers, you'd already be up about 3.5% overall, and it's just a matter of managing your risk. Had you taken the last ones here, including these that are 1 or 2 weeks old, you've got 23, 13, 3, 7, 7, 15, almost 16, and 1. So you would have been averaging possibly around 6.5%, 7%, just taking the new triggers that existed off this master list over the last 2 to 3 weeks. It would have been about a 7, 8% profit overall in your portfolio, and it kept you in very solid trends. Okay, now let's go to the core and the core invert hot list. So this is the core invert hot list. So the inverse hot list is going to be taking longs while we're in a downtrend, and the core will be taking shorts typically. You can see we've got a couple of existing triggers. This one is 2 weeks old. We've got 3.04% profit in TBX. This one is 2 weeks old in TMV, 15.84% profit, and this one is 24 weeks old at 20% profit, already hit the targets. Remember to pay attention to the stop level over here, the target levels, the entry price, and the in-trade profits. The thrusting pattern gives you a directional measurement telling you how strong or how weak the trigger is right now. Then we have profit factor and win rate, so you can see that historically these have been pretty good up here. Then we have a bull-bear ranking here, which tells us trending, longer-term trending strength. This is the direction of the trade, and this is an intermediate-term trend direction. So now here's our new triggers. Let's take a look at these. Remember, these are only 5 weeks old. We've got one that's 16.86%. That is the DRV, Real Estate 3X Bears. Everything else is moderately flat. Couple of little losers. Our largest loser is minus 3.3%. Then we've got these two down here at the bottom, Real Estate, REK, and SRS, 9.44% profit and 4.83% profit. No targets have been hit yet. Stops are still in place. Beautiful new trade setups. Again, some of them are not performing, and not all of them will within the first 4, 5, 6, 10 days. But generally, these are beautiful setup in swing trades. What we have to be cautious of, and I'll warn you, is that when the market gets into kind of a neutral sideways mode, which is where we're at right now, we have to reduce our allocations and really protect our risk. When the market is in a solid trending, call it longer-term bullish, shorter-term bullish, or longer-term bearish, shorter-term bearish, Then we're getting at a number of triggers that actually last 2, 3, 10, 20, 40 weeks, maybe a year plus or longer. When we're in neutral kind of sideways trending, then we're going to get some of these triggers. And when you start to get up into this 9% or 16% profit, what you should really start doing with some of these is leveling out your risk. So pull 50, 60% off, run the trailing stop. You can see we got in at 64.29. If you were already up here at 75 and change, I would pull 60% off and move my stop to just below or just above this entry price and kind of front run the system a little bit. This is a big gain. This is a pretty good gain. 4.8% is still a good gain. This is a great gain in two weeks, 15.84%. I would be doing the same thing. The stop level here is 116.15. We got in at 119.64. We're at 138.59. I would be moving my stop just above this, probably 119.75, 119.85, and let the system go and pull some of those profits off. Okay, so now the next one is the core list. And as I mentioned to you, this one will be a little bit more short. We do have some longs here that are longer term. See the number of weeks that we have running here? 25, 34, 38, 76. These are long-term positional trades. They've been higher. We still have great profits in these trades, but let's look at the newest ones. So 3 weeks old here in IYZ, short trigger, 15.58% profit. 5 weeks old in UGL, Ultra Gold, 5.44% profit, already hit our first target. Here's our new triggers from last week, and we have, let's see, Technology and Robotics, ARKQ, we've got 2.09% profit. HAIL, HAIL, we've got 0.35% profit. DIA, Dow Jones average, we are minus 0.83, which means we're taking, less than about 3/4 or 0.8% of a loss right now. IYR, Real Estate Trust, is 4.88% profit. XLP, the Consumer Staples, is 1% profit. And the Base Metals, DBB, is at minus 2.52% profit. And these are, again, 5 days old. So you've got some great longer-term triggers here that are holding up. And you've got some newer trades here that are netting just about on average about 1.5% profit right now. They could turn into more, but we're getting some really great signals, particularly in this inverse list. This inverse list has really exploded with some great profits here. We're going to be moving these hot lists into separate sections, into different member areas. So instead of posting them up on the Trade Tank member forum, I'm going to be moving them into separate member areas over the next couple of weeks. Until then, you can still find them on the TradeTank.com member forum, but generally things are going to be moving around a little bit through October as I try to separate and organize the member area a little bit better. All right, guys, on to the next section, and I hope you guys are enjoying all of this, finding opportunity.